better than he was in the first 2 months of the season. That's for certain. So credit to him. And the kid just keeps getting better, doesn't he? Morgan Smithies, what can I say? He's going to be an NRL player in 5 years' time. That's what I can fucking say. Oh well.
I think you've covered.
We need to get him shacked up with a couple of kids in tow. Way too much responsibility to think about moving down under, where he's got no support network, and we need the economy to flip around so that we can afford to keep him as well. And 3 times the salary that they can offer in the NRL right now doesn't occur to him as it has to other players. And then we might get to see him in our competition long term.
We'll see.
4 more years.
4 more years. I think you've covered pretty much everything I had written down. The only thing I want to say, I thought on replay that this game seemed pretty messy at the play of the ball. Lots of tit for tat. Kind of was it a loose carry? Was it a knockout? Kind of was it pulled out? I think there was a bit too much of that for me.
There's a spell where Wigan got the 2 penalties where I think it was Trent Merrin on Smithies both times, hand on the ball trying to slow young Smithies down.
Yes.
Smithies ain't no respect for reputations.
I think you went both ways though. I think you were equally culpable of trying to slow each other down. It made it a little bit messy for me. Definitely kudos to Wigan's defensive kind of desperation. That as you've said, that made a big difference. Leeds have no kicking game to speak of. They really don't. Yeah. Short, long bombs. Nothing is working. But I have to say, I thought I did like Gildart's try. I thought he was, as you said, he just got on the outside shoulder of Newman, didn't he? And he showed what a classy centre he is. So yeah, that was my try.
Newman's good if he wants to look at players in Super League that he can emulate. Gildart is one of those that he needs to be looking at for the way he skips out, runs lines, that sort of stuff. I think we can sum this game up by saying it was a game that was relatively high on intensity, relatively high on drama, relatively low on quality.
Yeah, quality wasn't brilliant, but yeah, but one place where quality was decent, also on Friday night, bouncing back, St Helens, it finished 38 to Huddersfield's 2. It was 26-2 to Saints at half-time, pretty much done and dusted. 9,527 were there, and Scott Michalauskas was the man in charge. We don't have stats for this game, but I think it's fair to assume that it was pretty one-sided. I think that's, even from the 3 minutes of highlights I've seen, I think that's pretty obvious. For the winning Saints, Tommy Makinson, yet again, 3 tries, 161 metres, 3 clean breaks. Lachlan Coote backing up as every good fullback should. 1 try, 4 try assists, 5 tackle busts, 128 metres. Theo Farge with a try, 2 try assists, 109 metres and 3 clean breaks. And Alex Walmsley doing his usual stuff, 6 tackle busts and 122 metres. Just one player meets the stat line for Huddersfield, Jordan Turner with 115 metres.
Yeah, a couple of Giants fans got in touch on this one. Rob said, the only positive I can really take is that Dom Young is another quality youngster in this team. Easily our best player tonight, and he did more in that game than I've seen Uarty do all season. Yeah, I think he came in for Jerry, didn't he?
Yes.
Dom Young. If I'm right, he's the big-haired, big-bodied outside back who played in the first of the Origin Academy games this year.
That would make sense because, as I say, I've only seen the highlights, and there was a definite resemblance between the player I saw playing for Yorkshire and the guy who was lining up for the Giants. Mark W says it was hard to think it was going to go any other way when you saw the 2 lineups. We looked low energy and were knackered after the first 10 minutes, while Saints looked like they could have played another 80. Credit to the Giants for sticking it out and putting in a much better second half, but it was way too little, much too late.
I'll let you eulogise about the highlights of this one in a second. There was an interesting split again between the points that went for the Man of Steel and the points that went in League Express for their Albert Goldthorpe, because the Man of Steel went Walmsley and Thompson as 2 of the 3, and Farge was the 3rd of the 3 players who got points. And then in the League Express, it was Coote, Lomax, and Makinston. Now, the stats that you talked about would suggest Coote, Lomax, and Makinston from a try-scoring point of view. So for the exciting stuff and the stuff that you'll have seen on the highlights, no doubt Coote massively involved.
Yeah, and I suppose I'd pick out. I think, as I said, I've only seen highlights, but my favourite try was where all those things came together. So the break that Walmsley made, passing it to Farge and then passing it to Coote, kind of exactly what you want to see, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's bringing all those elements together.
I think it was the first try, wasn't it?
I think it was the first one that I saw, yeah. So, that's the... But from all the tries that I've seen, and there was no real clear theme in it. It wasn't like they were particularly busting him down one side. They were just looking good everywhere, which I don't know how you defend it. I don't know how you game plan for that kind of play. It feels impossible to plan for. And as I say, Huddersfield was certainly overmatched on this one. I particularly liked the how depressed the cowbell sounded. It was just plodding along in the background that I saw. So the cowbell was sounding the death knell for the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, Dom Young on debut is the positive story for them. For Saints, a lot of the big guns back. Roby injured though, and yet they're still putting 38 points on. They're still dominating down the middle. They're still using that double hammer of Walmsley and Thompson to great effect to batter teams into submission. So usually you'd be worried that without Roby that role won't get on, but they've got a genuinely talented young hooker who probably has benefited from that spell he had last year at Hull KR, where he got beaten up a bit physically. He's probably benefited from that. He looks sharp, and
as you said, they've used him quite smartly, haven't they, so far this year? He's been in for the odd game and then kind of dropped back out again. But it means that he's not raw when he's coming in. So
he's got
sensible.
5-6 weeks, hasn't he? So
it was. From what I've seen, the scoreline was distinctly reminiscent of the balance of the game.
Fair enough. Right, on to Super Saturday. Shock Saturday. Let's call it Shock Saturday. Hull Kingston Rovers versus Warrington was the first of the two games on Saturday. 7,390 rocked up to this one. James Child was the referee. It was the Tony Smith revenge game, and revenge was a dish best served 16-14 by Hull Kingston Rovers. Now, it was 8-4 to Warrington at half-time, but the Robins were able to finish it off late on to grab a win with Quinlan's try coming 4 minutes from time, and Ryan Shaw's goal as well, taking that win for Rovers. Now, like the scoreboard, the stats were close. The Robins edged meters and breaks, the Wyres edged tackle success. The Rovers made a couple more errors, but Warrington were guilty of conceding 3 more penalties. Now, 3 more penalties was probably a crucial stat, when in the end it was in effect a penalty goal on half time that actually settled the game. Individually, Adam Quinlan, on his return from a 9-month injury layoff, was able to finish with 1 try, the match-winning try, 7 tackle busts and 165 metres, so it wasn't just that one instance that he was involved on. Mitch Garbett back in the side after suspension, 179 metres. Ryan Shaw, 122 metres on the wing, but more to the point, 4 from 4 with the boot.
Crucial.
Absolutely crucial. Rob Mulhern, 11 marker tackles and 105 metres, so a bit of both ways there. Not full both ways, but a bit of both ways. For the losing Warrington side, Joshua Charnley impressed, grabbed a try. Very nice looking try. 156 metres and 2 clean breaks. The reason why that Josh Charnley try looked so nice was Toby King on his inside, who had a try assist, 6 tackle busts and 113 metres. Mike Cooper, 104 metres and 5 successful offloads, so still getting those offloads away, still being effective, Mike Cooper. And Danny Walker playing in this one for Darryl Clark, who wasn't selected. 43 tackles, 12 of which were marker tackles for the young jug-eared hooker.
And in terms of who's got in touch, Tom, delightedly, Tom Andrew says, finally we were the better team and we actually won. We ran harder, tackled harder and threw the ball while we haven't all year. Blake Austin got rattled in the first half and never got over it. Standouts were Quinlan and Mossy. Nice to see Shaw taking my goal kicking lessons in. Tony Smith's taking us to Old Trafford.
I don't think Ryan Shaw needs goal kicking lessons. He's the most accurate kicker in the Super League and has been for a couple of years.
He's always been a great goal kicker, as Shaw, always.
Always in our shadow said, imagine winning against half a team who are second, only to find out at the end of the day you're in a worse position than at the start of the day.
That's good.
Just clarify this missing half a team for Warrington? Because I'm a bit confused. Jake Mamo played at fullback because Stefan Ratchford's injured, but Jake Mamo was starting fullback elsewhere in the Super League last season. Yeah. Jack Johnson on the wing, yes, that is a weakness because that's not the starting. Bryson Goodwin, Toby King, Josh Charnley, they're the three starters, I would say.
Yeah, first choice.
Patton, they're two first choice. Hill, Walker and Cooper, obviously Walker isn't first choice, but Hill and Cooper are. Curry, Murdoch, Masilla and Jack Hughes, all pretty much first choice, am I right? Jason Clark, Sitaleki Akawala, Harvey Levette and Matt Davis were the bench. That hasn't had much game time, but the other three have been picked week in, week out. So they're missing Philbin, Clark, Ratchford and Lynham, aren't they?
Yeah, which is it's some first 17 players missing, but that's probably reflected in most teams in the league at this stage of the season, isn't it? With injuries and suspensions and stuff. So it's not, and that's just the way that it works. In a 20-odd game season, you're bound to.
Rovers were missing. What's that back rower called? Who's the centre back rower? Kane Linnett, who's been one of their stronger performers. They were missing Danny Maguire. Yeah. They were missing Sean Lunt through not being selected, but still, I don't think he's fit particularly. They were playing Owen Harrison and Adam Rooks off the bench, two kids in the forward pack off the bench because they've got no forwards until they've brought them all in on loan. I think let's calm down when we're talking about half the team.
That's just the way it works.
Shadow doesn't loom that large, is what I would suggest on that one.
No. Yeah, most teams are a bit makeshift at this time of the year. Some more than others.
I just think there's easier things for Hull FC fans to have a go at the Rovers for than this.
I'm going to say,
how about you're just generally shit rather than trying to fabricate half a team out situation?
Yeah.
Anyway, Paige.
Moving on. But Paige says, sometimes just luck's on your side. Thanks, Rovers, for doing us a massive favour in the league too. I think Tom's had too many. What's that?
That's a better approach.
Yeah. I think Tom had too many beers though. He got back in the car and said Rovers are going to Old Trafford. Well, maybe they're going on a trip at the end of the year. Maybe Tony's taking them down to see what it's like. Funniest thing I've heard all year, they win one match and they think they're unbeatable. It's okay though, their bubble will be popped by London next week. One can hope.
Lee Whitnall says, Tony Smith revenge game. I could feel that one coming, so somehow it doesn't feel so bad. Well played, KR. I hope they stay up. Well, he's been a bit nice there, hasn't he? I thought he might have had to go at his own players a bit more for not delivering. I mean, it's a good enough side to have won against second bottom in the table, I would have thought, from a Warrington point of view.
Oh, yeah, they should be disappointed in losing, but particularly when they'd, Saints had given them a bit of a look in last week by their surprise defeat. It's disappointing to then roll up and do the same, isn't it?
And they scored the first try of the game. They were leading at half time. They lost Jason Clark to a concussion, which would have affected things. But I mean, the Mossy Maso try. Yeah, he's a big bloke, but that was soft. That was stoppable. There was bodies around that. And it's not surprised that the players got so frustrated in the aftermath of it, because I'd have been frustrated if I was a Warrington player with myself there. The Josh Charnley try was a really good try, but then the Adam Quinlan try was even better.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Will Dagger needed to pass it back inside to Adam Quinlan. I think he could have made it himself, but I think it just made the story, the narrative, way better.
Yeah.
Even better with Quinlan doing that, because he obviously was an impressive performer throughout as well. And then to polish